Hi guys, and welcome to a grief resilience video on how to intuitively interpret your dreams. My name is Shaya, if you don't already know me, and you're sitting in my new office. Um, Many of you know that we've been renovating our house, so my office has been sitting under plastic sheets so that it doesn't get dusty, but my office is back and I'm feeling good. It's nice to have my space back. um, so if you catch the replay of this video, go ahead and type replay so that I know you've seen it. If you guys have any questions at any time, let me know. I guess I'm just going to start with, I'm hoping, I have a new microphone, so I'm hoping this is working. If it doesn't work, I'm sure you guys will let me know. Um, but I figured I would just start with how I got into dream interpretation and how I learned to do this intuitively, because there's definitely a couple different schools of thought on how dream interpretation can be done. I respect everyone's beliefs, so I'm sharing from my personal experience and what has worked for me. Um, when I was pretty young, I can't even remember, I was definitely in elementary school, I started having night terrors. And if any of you don't know what those are, I would um, physically act out in my dreams, like kicking, punching, like throwing myself across the bed. I was not a very easy sleeper. So if you guys are here, say hi. Can you hear me, Sandy? I have a new mic, so I want to make sure it works. But in my with my night terrors, my mom had gone to an American Indian reserve and had asked for some guidance from them on like how she could help me, because she was just at her wit's end and she didn't know what to do. Um, and so they told her to get a dream catcher and to do some like, spiritual exploring to figure out like what was my subconscious fighting and struggling with, and like that was the source of my night terrors. I don't specifically remember all the way back then and like what exactly was my issue, just because I was so young. But the dream catchers and empowering me to interpret my own dreams was the key to solving this mystery for me. So just knowing that I had the power to um, figure out what the meaning was and the power to decide if I wanted to let these things continue unlocked a whole new world for me. From there, my dreams became just normal dreams, like normal night dreams or normal nightmares, depending on what was going on in my waking life. And then later, obviously, after my mom died, I had the opportunity to explore visitation dreams, which is where your loved ones come to visit. So I just want to talk about these two really quick. I'm not talking about visitation dreams today. We do have a video with Joshua Black, who is the leading researcher in visitation dreams. And so if you're interested in that, let me know and I will tag you in that video so that you can check those out. They're really amazing. But the difference is, with a dream visitation, you will absolutely know that it's your loved one visiting you. You will wake up with happiness. You will not have any questions. You will not feel the not so pleasant feelings that come with grief. You will feel absolutely blissful and happy, and you will have received love from your visit with your loved one. So if you wake up and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that was an awful dream with my loved one in it, and I just feel like crap now, that's just a regular dream and not a visitation dream. So I would love to hear about both if you guys have had both. So with these regular dreams and how to intuitively interpret them, it's good to know that these dreams come from your subconscious. And a lot of people believe, I personally believe, that our subconscious is a window to our soul. So what is it that our higher self or the higher power of our understanding or our God wants us to know? And that's why these dreams come to us in this way. I have done a video on dream recall. So if you need help with dream recall, let me know and I can tag you in that video as well. But so let's talk about these actual dreams. Sorry, that was a really long 4.5 minute opening to now the good stuff. So when you want to interpret a dream, um, some people do use books. And the reason that books are great is because the books are basically laying out saying that, what the symbol means. I was looking for something around me. But what the symbol is and something that we recognize that symbol to represent in our waking life. So um, I'm going to use animals just because I'm more familiar with animals, but like when I see an osprey, the bird, an osprey, I automatically think the symbolism of like ospreys are very resilient, that they are a bird who can go from the highest highs flying to pretty deep into the ocean, into the lows of the water. And so I just think of ospreys as being pretty resilient, that they can withstand the different extremes. So that's my personal symbolism on an osprey. If I were to look up an osprey in a dream interpretation book, there's going to be a general symbolization of what an osprey represents to culture or the collective as a whole. So it might not be your personal interpretation, but it can lead you to exploring your personal interpretation. So books are very helpful in that way when you're beginning. But it is very, very easy with any divination tool, whether you're learning tarot, whether you're learning to interpret dreams, whether you're learning to explore the different kinds of ways to connect with your soul and your loved ones. It is very, very easy to become reliant on a book. And the reason I highly suggest to just never use the book to begin with and to use people and learn yourself is because our soul has a language that we know, and we know it. You know what I mean? Like you do know, like you might be stuck and you might need a little nudge, but you don't need somebody to tell you what it means because you already know what it means. You already have enough wisdom and life experience to figure it out. So that's my take on the symbolism. So when you wake up from a dream and you want to interpret it, the best thing you can do is write down all of the symbols that you saw in your dream that you want to look into. So if I'm trying to think of a recent dream that's not crazy because my dreams are way out there, like way, way out there. So sometimes they don't quite make sense to other people when I use them for examples, but I'll use I'm trying to recall. I probably should have came prepared for this. But what I would do is I would write down all the symbols. Like I touched a doorknob, I got on a school bus, I planted a garden. So I'll use those three. So I wrote down those three. Please, if you remember more, write down way more. Write down everything that you remember because you'll see it unfold and it gets easier the more symbols you have to look into. The less symbols you have to look into, the more connecting the dots that you kind of have to do here. So I write down all the symbols and then I start asking myself questions. So like one, I would ask like, what does a doorknob represent to me? What positive things do I see with this doorknob? What negative things do I see with this doorknob? Then I would move on to the bus. And so I might say, when's the last time I was on a bus? Did the last time I was on a bus, was it a good experience or a bad experience? Where was this bus going in my dreams? And if you don't know where it was going, how did you feel? Did you feel happy, excited, afraid? And if you felt afraid, maybe you felt afraid because you didn't know where the bus was going and you couldn't trust your higher power to take you to a good place. So the key to unlocking these symbols and the meaning is to ask a bunch of questions, to journal it out, and then take all this information you have and compare it to your waking life. What is going on in my waking life? What am I afraid of? So if you had those fears on the bus and you didn't know where you're going, what in your life are you afraid of? Like, what is it that you really wish that you could control? What is it that you really have a fear about with letting go of what the destination will be? So you kind of just move through first figuring out what the symbolisms were, what those symbols mean to your life, what feelings did you have in the dream? And sometimes colors are a great thing to dig into as well. Maybe your school bus was blue. How does blue make you feel in waking life? And dig into those things as well. So the second step is comparing to your life. And this is where a lot of people get stuck because it is very, very, very difficult to objectively look at our own lives, right? So this is where sometimes I recommend bringing in a friend or bringing it to a group and asking a group to help you and support you through your dream interpretations. Not as much on the symbolism part because your soul knows the symbol, your soul knows the meaning of these items. And sometimes I would fight myself because I didn't want to be still long enough to hear what my soul wanted me to recognize as the symbol's meaning. So if you're stuck on a symbol, sit still first. And then if you do need someone's help, have them ask you questions, not tell you the meaning, so that you can figure it out for yourself. And then, so if you're stuck on this, how does this translate to my waking life? Bring in a friend again, ask questions, talk about what's going on. And if you guys have a desire to do this, like, let's do it. Let's make posts about this. Let's help each other out with these dream interpretations. So where I'm at in my life and what my dream interpretations are helping me with now is they're helping me recognize my feelings in waking life that I'm suppressing majority of the time. Sometimes they're guiding me in a way that that reveals what strengths or weaknesses I have that I'm neglecting, and sometimes they're guiding me in a way that gives me a confidence boost, right? But if I don't look into what the meanings of these dreams are, I don't recognize all of this stuff. So yeah, I think that's just about everything when it comes to dream interpretations. I probably could have added more. Maybe we could do a dream interpretations too, and I can dig in more specifically. This is just general information off the top of my head of what I know about dream interpretations. But in my life now, I pretty regularly dream. I no longer need to do the journaling and the question explorations as much. Sometimes I have a tough dream that I do need to do it with, but for the most part, I've been doing this long enough to where I can do it in my brain without getting it on paper, unless it's a really tough dream or unless my waking life is a mess. And sometimes when my waking life is a mess, then it does take a little bit more time to dig through what's going on. But for the most part, it gets easier and it takes less time to do. So if you are diligent about enhancing your dream recall, if you are diligent about interpreting your dreams and getting to know what that symbolism and that language is, because it is a language. All of these tools for divination and connecting to our higher selves and our higher powers, our loved ones and our guides, it's spoken through a language, which our soul knows, which our human body can block us from. So once you get to know that language, it rolls pretty easy. You'll remember, you'll be able to interpret a lot more quickly. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys need any more information about dream interpretations, please let me know. I would love to share everything I know about this and to help you guys empower yourselves to interpret your dreams for yourself. Because if you have to rely on someone to do it for you, or if you have to rely on, not being able to do it for yourself, you're less likely to do it and you're less likely to use the tools. So I just encourage you to dig in, to just try, even if you're not confident, and rely on the support of this group, because I would love to help you and empower you to do this for yourself. Have a great day, guys.